All right, so let's dive into a couple of examples of creating themelets. These are kind of fun. We're going to come up with a couple of examples. One of them is optional. You can feel free to pass or do it with me if you'd like. So these are just going to be a couple of fun examples that we'll work with. One of them will be a portlet drag indicator, or widget drag indicator if you want to call it that, so that we can see where we're placing widgets on the page. And the other one will just be a really cool little animation for the menu. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we're going to do in our terminal and command line is we're actually going to go back out of our theme into our C Liferay or user home Liferay folder. So go ahead and navigate back to the Liferay folder. Okay, and we're going to build our themelet projects here. All right, so this is going to be using the same generator we used to create our themes. So we're just going to run yo Liferay-theme, but we will do colon and then themelet. Okay, go ahead and hit enter. And it's going to ask us to give it the same sort of information we added for our theme. So we need to give it a name, okay, and then an ID, of course. So let's call this the widget drag indicator. Okay, so go ahead and hit enter. All right, hit enter for the ID as well. Of course, we can do 7.1. You'll notice that we have the other options of doing 7.0 or all. Okay, we're just going to do 7.1 in this case. And that's it. All right, so this will give us the basic starting point for our themelet. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our themelet is actually available to our theme. So we talked about the different ways we can do this. What we're going to do is we are going to run Npm Link. If you are on a Unix system, so Mac or Linux, you may need to run sudo for this and have admin access, just full disclosure there. Okay, so let's go ahead and navigate to our new themelet. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the widget drag indicator themelet here. All right, and I'm going to run sudo npm link. Okay, it's going to ask for my password. All right, so this is going to make it available to our actual theme. Okay, so now that we've done this, we can go ahead and add the CSS changes for our theme. All right, we're going to keep this nice and simple. We're just going to add in some code for both of these examples so we can get an idea of the process itself rather than the actual code. Although, again, for any of these examples, feel free to pause the video and take a look at what we're actually doing. All right, so I'm going to open up my Finder here. Okay, I'm going to drag this up a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go into my Liferay folder. So again, I have my Liferay folder and my exercises folder right next to each other. In my Liferay folder, you can navigate there as well. C Liferay or user home Liferay. We have the widget drag indicator themelet. Okay, so I can go ahead and open this up. All right, and I have in my source a CSS folder and the custom.scss. So this is sort of the default that is generated with our new themelet. So let's go ahead and open up the custom SCSS. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and type LFR for the snippet here. And I'm going to find the 11th snippet, which is just the widget drag themelet. Okay, so go ahead and add that there. All right, now this is just some simple code. Again, what it's going to do is it's going to give us a drop zone of sorts for our widgets to go to once it is deployed. Again, the purpose of these themelets is to have small reusable pieces of code that we can plug into our themes. So this is a great example of just that. All right, so what we need to do next is we need to actually attach this to our theme. Okay, so we have it available through Npm Link. We've added our code. Now we need to actually make sure that we can plug it into the theme itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate back up to my Liferay folder and then back to my theme. Okay. All right, and here what we're going to do is we're going to run gulp extend. All right, so we talked about this a little bit earlier as one of the options using gulp. Okay. We don't want to extend the base theme, but we do want to add a themelet. So go ahead and select themelet and hit enter. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to search the globally installed npm module. So that's what that npm link command is going to do for us. Alternatively, we can search the npm registry for published themelets as well. But let's go ahead and search the globally installed npm modules. All right, you'll see the widget drag indicator themelet is available. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and hit space right next to it, and you'll see that it's going to select it. Okay, this might be a little bit of a different experience for those of you who are on Windows. And then once I've done that, I can go ahead and hit enter. And it's going to plug in my themelet to my theme. So it's going to update some of the configuration files for my theme. Okay, and we will be good to go. All right, so you can find this update in the package.json in your theme if you'd like to take a look at that. All right, but from there, we can go ahead and run gulp deploy. All right, so nice and easy. If we have a number of themelets that we are working with, or if there are some themelets that you see on the NPM registry, all you need to do is make sure they're available, extend your theme to include the themelets, and then deploy your theme. All right, it's that easy. All right, so if I refresh here, okay, our theme is set up here. We can go ahead and click on the add button and widgets. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a random widget here. Okay. We'll see here if we drag our widget around, we now have an indication of the actual layout itself. Okay. So it's a nifty little themelet that we can add to our themes to make it easier for our actual page designers to determine exactly where something goes on a page. Okay. If you did that with me, just go ahead and remove the widget for now. All right. And there's some steps to add another optional themelet. I'm going to go ahead and do this. You can feel free to follow along or just watch. The second themelet is going to be a menu animation. Okay. It's just kind of a cool little animation that almost makes our page feel a little bit like iOS. Okay. If you have an iPad or an iPhone, for example. So I'm going to go back to my Liferay folder. All right, and I'm going to run yo liferay-theme : themelet. Okay, just like I did before. And this guy is going to be called the product menu animation. Okay. And I'm going to use that ID. And you can actually find this on the NPM registry as well. Okay, this was developed by one of our internal UI engineers. I'm going to go ahead and select 7.1, just like we did before. And we're going to go through the same process. We need to make it available. We need to add the code, and then we need to plug it in and deploy it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my new themelet. All right. I'm going to run Npm Link. Again, I'm using sudo because I am on Mac. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some code. All right, so I'm going to open up my Finder here, and I'm going to go to the product menu animation themelet in my Liferay folder. I'm going to do the same thing, go to source, CSS, and I'm going to open up that custom SCSS file. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the snippet we have here. So LFR, and then the very last option here should say 12 optional product menu themelet. Go ahead and add that here. Okay. All right, so this obviously does a little bit more, but it gives us a fun little option for animating our menu whenever we open it. Okay. So now, just like we saw before, we can save it and extend our theme to include this themelet. Okay. Again, if you want to pause the video and investigate some of the CSS going on here for this animation themelet, feel free to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and extend this here. So I'm going to navigate back to my theme. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and run gulp extend. Same thing here, themelet. I'm going to search the globally installed NPM modules, select the product menu animation themelet, and hit enter. And again, for me to select that, in order for that little bubble to fill in, I have to hit space and then enter. And then from there, I can go ahead and run a gulp deploy. All right, so I'm going to give that a few seconds or so to load, and then I can simply reload my page. And I'll be able to see my new menu animation. All right. So let's go ahead and hop over to the browser. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. All right, and once it is reloaded, if I open up the menu, I now can see my cool little animations. All right. Okay, so that's how you build and connect themelets. Again, it's nice and simple. We can just quickly generate our new themelets, add the code, and make sure they're available, plug them in, and deploy. All right, pretty simple process. Okay, so feel free to, again, pause the video, have a little fun with that, maybe generate your own themelet, and see if you can get that up and running. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about different ways that we can include resources or embed widgets or content into our theme. All right. So I will see you guys in the next section.